You walk into a room and instantly map the emotional temperature of every person there. You apologize for delays caused by traffic. You say yes to projects you have no time for. Your mind is locked in a constant, active calculation to keep everyone comfortable. Society looks at this behavior and applies highly flattering labels. People call you nice, easygoing, and completely low maintenance. You are routinely praised for being the person who never causes a problem, but the effort required to maintain that image is exhaustive. When you spend every waking hour predicting what other people need to remain calm, you eventually run out of the mental energy required to identify what you actually want for yourself. It is a slow, quiet erasure of your own identity. The nice persona you project outward masks a heavy psychological burden you carry inward. People-pleasing is a physiological survival strategy. It is a learned protective pattern used to navigate environments where being yourself felt dangerous. Clinicians identify this as the fawn response, an unconscious reflex governed by the nervous system. This revelation shifts the perspective. A shameful social habit becomes a biological function that is operating exactly as it was originally programmed to do. This diagram illustrates the mammalian threat assessment system. When the brain detects a threat, it triggers specific mechanisms to help us survive danger, commonly recognized as fighting, fleeing, or freezing. But there is a fourth quadrant here. The fawn response is the least discussed of the four, yet it is the most common threat reaction found in high-functioning adults. This pattern typically takes root early in life. We see it overwhelmingly in eldest siblings, children who had to act as parents to their own caregivers, and adults raised in unpredictable households. In these specific environments, whether a chaotic living room or a critical classroom, expressing your authentic emotions or personal needs was often physically or emotionally unsafe. The young brain processes that danger and adapts. It calculates that the only reliable way to secure safety is to anticipate what the adults in the room need and deliver it before a conflict can even occur. Being excessively agreeable as a child was a strategic calculation by your nervous system to guarantee your survival. Decades later, you are an adult. You might be a clinician, a teacher, or a professional operating in an office setting where your physical safety is entirely secure. This diagram shows the core biological misfire. A safe environment goes in, but the nervous system fails to recognize that safety, instead triggering a massive threat response. Because the brain is scanning for danger that doesn't exist, the effort leads directly to severe interpersonal exhaustion. You develop intense resentment toward the very friends and colleagues you are trying to appease. Adult people-pleasing is a systemic crash. It happens when a defensive mechanism designed for a childhood crisis continues to fire in an environment that is actually safe. Fixing this pattern does not mean you have to swing to the opposite extreme. The objective is not to become hostile, aggressive, or rude to the people around you. The clinical goal is learning to manually turn off that internal biological alarm bell. It requires building up your tolerance for the uncomfortable feeling of letting someone else down. Recovery means recognizing how hard that fawn response worked to protect you, while reclaiming your right to set limits and have your own needs. Because this response is deeply wired into the nervous system, changing it usually requires trauma-informed therapies. Modalities like cognitive behavioral therapy and internal family systems, which helps organize the different protective parts of your mind, are effective tools for this work. This graphic details the infrastructure of coping and healing counseling. They maintain a team of over 15 licensed therapists specializing in these fawn response patterns. Their practice is fully HIPAA compliant and operates 100% through telehealth, making individual, couples, and teen therapy accessible to patients across all 159 counties in the state of Georgia. To ensure care is financially accessible, they accept major insurances, including Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare, and Blue Cross Blue Shield, with typical sessions running $30 to $40. For Medicaid patients, the copay is $0. You can visit chctherapy.com or call 404-832-0102 to book a session. It is time to stop running a survival strategy and start living safely.